Hello there, a very good evening to you. Or should it be congratulations first? Well, don't ask congratulations for what? For I know you know. We have finally gone to the polls after the other week's hiccup and voted for ourselves National Assembly members and a president for the next 4 years. So, once again, congratulations to Nigerians. Now, that we went into the elections and came out smelling like a rose is not in doubt, given the accolades from the international observers. So tonight, we'll celebrate this victory for democracy with stories, reactions, and analysis around the 2019 general elections. Even though we're celebrating, it is still news extra. So, the extra you shall get in stories that we have gone the extra mile to do, and which we have also put in the extra touch. So, let's get started. I am Fatima Abbas Hassan, and this is News Extra. You're welcome. Now, Abuja, the seat of power, witnessed its first drops of rain Tuesday night in the year 2019. For many, it's just rain. But a deeper check shows the mystery of this rain and the dawn of a new era in the political development of the governing APC. Yes, the rain ushered in the renewal of the mandate of President Muhammadu Buhari as the first crossed the line out of the 73-man race to the #1 seat of Nigeria at the most coveted Aso Rock in Abuja. Mie Ogidi witnessed this historic event.
It was a long walk to the National Collation Center as myriad of challenges encountered pre and during the elections, but it's all smiles in the long run. With the conclusion of the presidential elections, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, the chairman of INEC, displayed the blank forms for the recording of the results to party representatives and observers as a sign of transparency, and within 48 hours, all the presidential results from the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory submitted. President Muhammadu Buhari of the APC take charge of 20 states, some landslide, others moonslide, while the PDP came top in 16 states and the Federal Capital Territory. Issues of overvoting, cancellations, non-use of smart card readers formed the main content of petitions that followed most results from the states. At 12:45 p.m. Wednesday, collation ended and the election management body went into a closed-door session, leaving many to have a short rest while others formed clusters to discuss the possible outcome. Discussions that made many to keep party affiliations aside. At 3:50 a.m., the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, without the usual smiles on his face, addressed some key issues raised by party representatives.
Where the corridor is deliberately circumvented, you write a 0 and proceed with the election. So in some places you have 40%, 45%, 50%, but by the time you do the national average, it gives you what we call the national. So the 35.6% is national.
The clearance of these pending issues give the permission to the INEC chairman to ride on the powers of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Electoral Act to declare the winner. An election contested by 73 presidential candidates, 82,344,107 registered voters, and 29,364,209 accredited voters.
Buhari Muhammadu of the APC scored 15,191,847 votes. Abubakar Atiku of the PDP scored 11,262,978 votes. That Muhammadu Buhari of the All Progressives Congress, having satisfied the requirements of the law and scored the highest number of votes, is hereby declared winner and is returned elected. Thank you.
It was indeed an atmosphere of no victor, no vanquish, as all exchange pleasantries as national interest supersedes party interest.
Thank you. Like I said, we're all patriots. Yes. I've said that before, we're all patriots. Thank you.
As many bask in this euphoria, others endorse their approval of the results.
It's a victory for democracy in Nigeria.
And I equally congratulate all the contestants, especially President Muhammadu Buhari, for this resounding victory.
So, the conclusion of the presidential and the National Assembly elections marked the end of the first leg of the general elections. Nigerians now look on to March 9, 2019, when the governorship, state houses of assembly, and that of the Federal Capital Territory elections will be conducted. There is a common prayer here by all Nigerians that the peace being experienced at the first leg of the elections should be replicated in the second leg, which is March 9, 2019. From the International Conference Center in Abuja, Mie Ogede, NTA News.
In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari says he is deeply humbled and profoundly grateful to the millions of Nigerians for judging him worthy of continuing to serve as president of the country for the next 4 years. This was while reacting to the outcome of the just concluded presidential election, in which he was declared winner by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. State House correspondent Adam Musambu has the details.
It was an exciting moment that rekindles optimism, high sense of satisfaction, and indeed fulfillment at the official residence of President Muhammadu Buhari, as INEC chairman Professor Mahamoud Yakub announced the result of the 2019 presidential election.
Buhari Muhammadu, having satisfied the requirements of the law and scored the highest number of votes, is hereby declared winner and is returned elected.
For the well-wishers that joined the first family for the remarkably historic and significant point in time, it is a dream come true.
We thank God for making it possible for us to get the second term. I'm highly delighted because Nigerians are ready for continuity, and I'm sure they will not regret it.
I'm very excited about it because I know his intentions are very clean. This term will be better than the last term. That's just what I can hope for and pray for, as every other Nigeria would.
I want to assure Nigerians that with Buhari, you are in good hands.
For me, it's just congratulations all the way. And I know that the best will begin to happen for us as a nation. Yes, it has started, we are on the right path. We mentioned it, that we may not be where we want to be, but we are definitely on the right path.
President Muhammadu Buhari then proceeded immediately to the APC presidential campaign headquarters in the heart of Abuja, the nation's capital, where stakeholders of the party gave him a befitting welcome. In his formal reaction to the outcome of the presidential election, President Muhammadu Buhari described the renewal of his mandate by Nigerians as victory for both the Nigerian democracy as well as the APC.
I do not have the words adequately to thank the millions of Nigerians who voted to re-elect me as your president for the next 4 years. I am deeply humbled. I would like to make a special appeal to my supporters, not to gloat or humiliate the opposition. Victory is enough reward for your efforts.
The new administration, the president said, will intensify efforts at securing the country, restructuring the economy, and fighting corruption.
We have laid down the foundation, and we are committed to seeing matters to the end. We will strive to strengthen our unity and inclusiveness so that no section or group will feel left behind or left out.
Although the presidential and National Assembly elections were relatively peaceful, the Nigerian leader, however, expressed worry that in a handful of states, troublemakers attempted to disrupt the exercise.
Security agencies will bring to justice all those arrested in the process. I am very sad as the grievous loss of lives during these elections. Security agencies will step up their efforts to protect the voters in the forthcoming state elections.
The president used the opportunity to appreciate both the international and domestic observers for not only contributing to the success of the elections, but also showing greater interest in Nigeria and its developing democracy. He also thanked the leadership of the party, other stakeholders, and the millions of volunteers for sacrificing their time and resources towards achieving the desired outcome. In Abuja, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has presented certificate of return to the President-elect Muhammadu Buhari and the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo following their victory in the presidential election. Again, State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu made the presentation.
At the brief but significant event, INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, as Chief Electoral Commissioner of Nigeria, formally presented certificates of return to the President-elect Muhammadu Buhari and Vice President-elect Yemi Osinbajo as winners of the 2019 presidential election. This is a statutory obligation in fulfillment of the requirements of the law. Addressing the gathering comprising, amongst others, the top management of INEC, chieftains of the governing APC, members of the First Family and other stakeholders, the president-elect said the victory achieved in the elections, widely adjudged free and fair, is a reaffirmation of confidence in him and the APC government.
Now that the elections are over and a winner declared, we must all see it as a victory for Nigeria, our dear country. All Nigerians going forward must stand in brotherhood for a bright and fulfilling future. Our government will remain inclusive and our doors will remain open. That is the way to build the country of our dream. Safe, secure, prosperous, and free of impunity and primitive accumulation by those entrusted with public offices.
While congratulating all the candidates and their teams for a hard-fought campaign, President Buhari said although they may have had their differences, one thing they share in common is a love for the country and desire to improve the living conditions of the people.
We will roll up our sleeves afresh and give it our all. We have no other motive than to serve Nigeria with our hearts and might and build a nation which we and generations to come can be proud of. I can assure you that you will see a country moving to the next level.
He paid tribute to all those who lost their lives either through accidents or mindless violence during the course of the elections, lamenting, however, that election is not war and should never be seen as a do-or-die affair. And back to his official residence, after securing the legal instrument for another 4-year mandate, Nigerians from all walks of life have continued trooping in to show solidarity.
I believe this victory is an elixir for us as a party and for Mr. President as the leader of this country to continue with this program that he has set in place, because that is the most focused arrangement that can take Nigeria to the next level.
I'm excited that, Lagos is still in the stream of the progressives and that, we put all our hearts out for President Buhari, and we're happy that a day like this has come. We are getting to a prosperous Lagos and a more prosperous Nigeria.
The new government is to be inaugurated on the 29th of May 2019. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Well-meaning Nigerians have been speaking on the remarks made by the president after he was presented the certificate of return by the Independent National Electoral Commission. They described the president's call for unity in nation building as a demonstration of his humility. State House correspondent Jide Onifade now reports.
Election is not war and should never be seen as a do-or-die affair.
As often said, the words of our elders are words of wisdom, And the understanding here from the remarks of the president is that it is better to appreciate ourselves and have respect for human dignity. I asked some of the dignitaries, all politicians, what the speech of the president means to them.
Yeah, and like he said no matter how contentious elections are, and they are bound to be contentious. Everybody is passionate. Everybody believes that he is the only solution to the country's problems, but only one person will emerge. And I think with the margin which the president has won, it shows clearly that Nigerians have confidence in the president's administration.
There was no opera as expected, and a lot of things that people expected to happen didn't happen. And so I believe that what it simply means is that we should let the past be the past and then look onto the future.
If supporting the noble cause, if supporting projects for Nigerians, if supporting programs for Nigerians will be categorized and seen and interpreted in court as rubber stamp, we are prepared to be rubber stamp.
So we have a confidence that in the next tenure, Borno will be normal.
And again, the president has spoken. He has called on everyone to join hands with this administration in order to move this country forward. Jide Onifade, NT News.
Thank you, Jide. Now, let me ask you, what is your perception of President Muhammadu Buhari? Many say he can best be described as a phenomenon in the Nigeria of today, an exceptional personality who endears himself to people wherever he goes. This is what Momso Damien Dati will be looking at in this next report.
In Nigeria, whenever you talk about remarkable, exceptional, or unusual leadership, Muhammadu Buhari is one that comes to mind. He is like a magnet that attracts people to him wherever he goes, no matter the place or circumstance.
Buhari.
Uncommon charisma is what describes him best wherever he is. He doesn't need a town crier to announce his arrival, as his personality is infectious. Though soft-spoken and a man of few words, Buhari's words are always concise and straightforward, yet reliable and guaranteed.
We are interested in leaving a legacy of performance.
But then, one may wonder, what are those attributes that endear Buhari to people?
We know him as a man of integrity, a man of sincerity, who dedicated his life for the poor Nigerian. Not only that, let's go to the after 4 years of his tenure. He have done very well.
Best a lot. In terms of infrastructures, he do a lot of work. We see it.
Buhari is a great man. And I know he's going to do a lot of work in Nigeria.
He's a nice man. He has been there for the past how many years? Has been the PDF chairman, one time head of state. Now it's the civilian president right now.
Just like a phenomenal occurrence, Muhammadu Buhari is a happening factor that can be seen, felt, and experienced, leaving behind legacies wherever and in whatever he does. Momso Damien Dati, NTA News.
Now, aside from being a Nigerian by birth, there are other constitutional requirements for whomsoever wants to be the president of Nigeria. In this next report, Dele Atumbi of our judiciary desk takes a look at these prerequisites.
The electoral process in Nigeria is guided by law, either in the Constitution or in the Electoral Act.
Muhammadu Buhari of the All Progressives Congress, having satisfied the requirements of the law and scored the highest number of votes, is hereby declared winner and is returned elected.
At the cast of ballot, What are these requirements to be satisfied in line with Section 134, subsections 1 and 2 of the 1999 Constitution as amended?
At the end of counting of the votes, you must have obtained or have been voted with at least first the highest number of votes at the election, and secondly, you must have scored one quarter of the votes cast in at least 2/3 of the states, in this case the 36 states of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Federal Capital Territory.
When you do the mathematics, at 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, we're looking at least 24 states or thereabout. So that is the legal requirement.
All the federation, 1/4, that is 25% of the 2/3 of the state in Nigeria. That means that 25% in at least in 2/3. 2/3 here of 36 is 24. That means that you must have 1/3. That's 25% of the vote in 24 states.
Why Section 134, subsection 1 refers to a situation where only 2 candidates are contesting for the position of the president, subsection 2 of the same provision provides for multiple contestants, and this relates to the 2019 presidential election. The result, as announced by INEC, apart from President Muhammadu Buhari having the highest number of votes cast in the 2019 presidential election, with straight win in 19 states of the Federation, he also satisfied the constitutional requirement of making 25% in 34 states and the FCT. He missed the court in Enugu and Anambra states.
This is the president that we have. This is the only country that we have. And we do not have any option if you're patriotic, if you want this country to move ahead, but to engage and support.
My advice to the Nigerians is that we should be happy that we have gone this far in democratic governance.
This is the 5th uninterrupted election to be conducted in Nigeria since independence, a situation observers say is a plus to constitutional democracy. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
And like the president himself said the other day, failure is an orphan, while success has many friends. Already, friends are showing up to identify with President Muhammadu Buhari for his re-election for a second term. Musa Baba Aliyu reports that leaders of Niger, Ghana, and Senegal were the early callers.
President Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana, Muhammadu Yusufu of Niger, Macky Sall of Senegal, and Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa have congratulated Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari, wishing him greater exploits after he was declared winner of the just concluded presidential election. President Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana and Uhuru Kenyatta of Kenya said the victory is a clear demonstration of the trust and confidence the people of Nigeria have in President Muhammadu Buhari's ability to lead the country to greater heights of progress. In his congratulatory message, the South African President Cyril Ramaphosa expressed his commitment to working closely with President Muhammadu Buhari's government to enhance bilateral relations which exist between South Africa and Nigeria, in particular focus on the strengthening of economic cooperation. King Mohammed of the Kingdom of Morocco described President Buhari's victory as an affirmation of the level of confidence Nigerians have in their president and promised to work with him to advance the interests of both countries. The monarch expressed satisfaction with the existing cordial and fraternal African relationship linking the two leaders, their people, and the nations. President Alpha Omar Condé of Guinea also extended his congratulations, describing the re-election of President Muhammadu Buhari as a dose of hope for the West African region. China always attaches high importance to bilateral ties and stands ready to work with the new Nigerian government to strengthen exchanges and cooperation in various fields and bring more benefits to the peoples, says Chinese government in a congratulatory message to Nigeria over the victory of President Muhammadu Buhari. And the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries has also sent a congratulatory message to President Muhammadu Buhari. In a statement signed by the Secretary General of the organization, Muhammad Sanusi Barkindo says OPEC is looking forward to the continuous support of President Buhari's next tenure in office in the interest of producers, consumers, and the global economy alike. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Speaking in the same vein, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, says the re-election of President Muhammadu Buhari is what the nation truly deserves, stating that it is a good victory for Nigeria. The minister also said it was important that the president was re-elected in order to have 4 more years to complete what he has started. Special advisor to the Minister of Media, Sierra Sanda, says the minister stated this in Enugu and also appreciated his political structure, the Nkushike political family, that mobilized support for President Muhammadu Buhari by going around the whole state to spread the message of next level. This is NTA News Extra. We now take a break. There will be more when we return. Join us again.
The Youth Directorate of the APC Presidential Campaign Council hereby appreciates and congratulates its teaming members and the entire Nigerian youth for coming out en masse to vote President Muhammadu Buhari. You chose to vote for integrity, steadfastness, and the next level democratic dividends. This is a resounding victory for every young Nigerian. President Muhammadu Buhari's victory is our victory. We continue to stand for security, economic development, fight against corruption, and human capital development. Congratulations, Mr. President. Congratulations to all Nigerian youth. This message is sponsored by Dr. Tony Woye, Director of Youth Mobilization, APC Presidential Campaign Council.
Data. We can't live without it. Share it. Impress with it. Borrow it. It.
Calm down, breathe.
Celebrate with it. Breathe easy, knowing that with Glow, data is oxygen.
My name Nadumo Lulu Briggs and I be River speaking. Make una vote for me for this election of 2019. When I become una governor, na steady progress I go bring. Life go be jolly jolly, and peace go dey brekete for everywhere. Our man go run River State like say na him person or something. Only big talk and failure we dey see since 2015. But when I become una governor, our people go live like it. My people wipe una eye. No worry, God, they do more they come. So vote for Dumo Lulu Briggs. Rivers people make una vote una song. Chief Barrister Dumo Lulu Briggs. God, they do more they come. I say vote for Dumo Lulu Briggs. Rivers people make una vote una song. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. God, they do more they come.
Vote Dumo Lulu Briggs. Vote Accord. Oneness and progress.
Life evolves. You should too. 3G is great. 4G is better. Buy an Airtel SIM to enjoy double data on Nigeria's widest 4G network.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
voted, we supported, and so we moved to the next level. On behalf of the people of Kebbi State, under the leadership of our humble governor, Senator Atiku Bagudu, we congratulate Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari for winning the 2019 presidential election. We are already at the next level. Let's join hands together for a better Nigeria. Long live Muhammadu Buhari, long live Kebbi State, long live Nigeria. Alhaji Sani Dododo Tambarin Gwandu, Chairman, Information and Publicity, Buhari Atiku Campaign Organization, announcer.
Getting around heartburn and indigestion can be tricky if you eat too much. Eat food that is too spicy or greasy, or lie down after eating. Heartburn and indigestion could always be around the corner. When they come, be prepared with Gaviscon Double Action. It works within 3 minutes and lasts up to 8 hours. Gaviscon Double Action. Many causes, one solution.
developing the nation's human resource.
If you are showing kindness to somebody and you're expecting something in return, you're doing business and not kindness. At Airtel, we show kindness.
The Aino family lost 3 children in a house fire.
How about my children? Where are my children?
Airtel Touching Lives built them a new house. The poverty in the Ilaja community was unbearable. They had no access to clean running water. Airtel installed an industrial borehole for them. Onyeka lost his leg in an accident. We gave him a prosthetic leg. The women of the Mbashe community walked for miles to fetch water. We gave them access to clean running water. These communities' survival depend on the help of Airtel Touching Lives. Send your nominations to 367. Nominate someone today.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
You're welcome back. It's good to have you join us again on News Extra tonight. Still talking about the outcome of the 2019 presidential election, stalwarts of the All Progressives Congress, APC, say the re-election of President Muhammadu Buhari is the right tonic for the development of Nigeria's democracy. They were speaking to Salihu Abdullahi shortly after the announcement of the winner of Saturday's presidential election in Abuja.
A long handshake by top officials of the APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Adams Oshomale, congratulating one another, heralded a victory song. It is to celebrate the successful re-election of President Muhammadu Buhari.
I think this is more like a referendum between the sitting president, who has worked over the past 3.5 years to reorientate Nigerians, to reorder our value system.
It's an approval of his leadership in the last 4 years and the achievements he has recorded in the last 4 years.
The euphoria did not make them forget the task of ensuring the election of more APC candidates at the forthcoming governorship and state assembly elections.
Gubernatorial elections in the states, which we hope that and pray, and we've worked hard that our party is as successful as we've been today.
To APC members, the victory is a true demonstration of Nigerians' faith in the next level agenda of the Buhari administration, which is building on the foundation laid for prosperity across critical sectors of the country.
Nigerians have more or less said we have voted for social investment programs, we have voted for integrity.
This election has proven that no matter how long, that the truth will prevail over falsehood.
With the successful conduct of the presidential and National Assembly elections, Nigerians are looking forward to the next round of elections with hope. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, following the declaration of President Muhammadu Buhari as the winner of the February 23rd presidential election by the Independent National Electoral Commission, Timothy Yusuf was at the National Secretariat of the People's Democratic Party to see the mood of the people there.
This is the National Secretariat of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, popularly called Wadata House. The mood here is simply that of quietness. The Secretariat is under lock and key with no one to speak to. The mood here at the National Campaign Headquarters of the People's Democratic Party, popularly called the Legacy House, is not in any way different from that of the National Secretariat, the Wadata House. There is no activity here, the gate is under lock and key, no one to speak to. The mood here also is simply that of quietness. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
And in his reaction, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, rejected the result of the February 23rd election declared by the Independent National Electoral Commission this Wednesday. He stated his position at a media briefing in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf was there and our reports.
Atiku Abubakar thanked Nigerians who trooped out in their millions to perform their civic duty. The presidential candidate alleged that there were manifest and premeditated malpractices in many states which negate the results announced.
I am conferring with not just my party, but also with the Nigerian people on next steps, which will be revealed to the public shortly.
He said he will explore democratic avenues to address the issues, stressing that he would have called the victor if election was free and fair. He appealed to his supporters to remain calm, steadfast and loyal to constituted authority, saying all hope is not lost. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
And as Nigerians continue to celebrate the victory of the re-election of President Muhammadu Buhari, a cross-section of Nigerian women converged on the residence to commemorate with the president, his wife, and other members of the first family. The women, comprising politicians, governors' wives, and other members of Women and Youth's presidential campaign team, have expressed confidence in the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, believing that he will continue to deliver. State House correspondent Aliyu Kabir reports that while in a happy mood, the women reaffirmed their readiness to continue to show solidarity and patriotism to ensure the success of the Buhari-led administration in the second term.
This victory, we dedicate it to the Almighty God, and we know that Nigerians will not regret this massive support they've given to Mr. President. I pray that all Nigerians will remain focused, and I want to assure you that Mr. President will not disappoint us.
God has decided President Buhari is coming back to continue with the good work he started. The next level, which is 4 years ahead of us, a period that we believe Nigerians will really see what they are expecting from him.
It has been a struggle mostly by women and the youth. So he must give a very important space for the women and the youth.
We're here to support him succeed in his goals, in his dreams for Nigeria, and we're all here to support and make Nigeria a greater nation.
I believe, Mr. President, that will go into a greater Nigeria. I know he loves Nigeria, and those of us who've been working with him have learned a lot. And what we've really learned from him is to love our country.
While commending Nigerians for taking this bold step with their massive votes in the nation's political journey, the women urged all Nigerians to come on board in moving the nation forward. And Nigerian market women were not left out in the jubilation that heralded the announcement of the 2019 presidential election results, declaring President Muhammadu Buhari as the winner. They described the election as peaceful and urged the president to do more in agriculture, as Joy Uzona reports.
This is the common sight at Abuja markets after the announcement of President Muhammadu Buhari as winner of the 2019 presidential election. And women traders in this market are not left out of the euphoria.
Baba, say Baba, say Baba.
I'm so happy. You can see it by yourself that everywhere, everybody is happy because of the peaceful election.
And I'm happy, secondly, for the Baba that is coming back. Sincerely speaking, Baba is good. On his own is good. He's not a corrupt man.
I want to see the next level, how it will be.
The women traders advise that all Nigerians should be carried along to the next level. They also commended President Muhammadu Buhari for his achievements in the fight against corruption and urged him to consolidate on the agricultural success story to ensure food sufficiency.
Well, they tried, but I want them to perfect it in this their new regime.
If they know what they will do in our agriculture, those people that have been doing that agriculture, to empower them so that these things will come down in a big that everybody in Nigeria will be satisfied.
Traders are also of the opinion that outright closure of economic activities during elections should be reviewed in the future.
My job falls during the weekends, so definitely all my weekends for the 16th was cancelled. On the 23rd again, we had to go out to vote, and resuming work the next day afterwards, the business was not as it's meant to be.
In this era of technology, this should be the last time people should be made to move from one point of the country to another just because they want to vote. Technology is there to make sure people vote from wherever they are.
For now, the celebration continues with the hope of going to the next level. In Abuja, I'm Joy Uzo, NTA News.
And as Nigerians continue to celebrate the victory of President Muhammadu Buhari for the just concluded presidential polls, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Gida Mustafa, could not help but join the winning train to the next level. Correspondent Ahmed Ondas Ahmed reports that the SGF, Boss Mustafa, assured Nigerians that their loyalty and votes for President Muhammadu Buhari to the next level will be an all-inclusive governance for the betterment of all and sundry.
The people of Nigeria have spoken through their votes and reconfirmed their faith and their trust in the person of President Muhammadu Buhari, having seen how he has led this country in the last nearing 4 years. And they have every reason to be grateful that he led in this particular dispensation. And you can see the excitement everywhere. I think there's no government in this country that has provided for the youth. Not only the Empower program, but the entrepreneurial hubs that the Vice President was going around the country establishing, and the trader money and all sorts of things that were put in place. That's the level of the social infrastructure I was talking about.
Well, as they say, charity begins at home. And so, naturally, while jubilations in Daura erupted after the declaration of President Muhammadu Buhari as the winner of Nigeria's presidential election, Lawal Ahmed Batazu has the details of the celebration.
Following the declaration of President Muhammadu Buhari as the winner of Nigeria's presidential election, Daura, his hometown, has erupted into Following the declaration of President Muhammadu Buhari as the winner of Nigeria's presidential election, Daura, his hometown, has erupted into wild jubilations. Correspondent Ado Ali Ibrahim reported that the jubilations, which started at the early hours of today as a trickle at the Daura town square, known as Kenjo Square, gradually transformed into a mammoth crowd of people jubilating in different ways. Some were singing the president's song and dancing. The celebration mood involves the young and old, men and women, were expressing gratitude to Nigerians for giving their son another mandate to lead Nigeria. In Katsina, Lawal Ahmad Matazu, NTA News.
The people of Kano State have every reason to celebrate the victory of President Muhammadu Buhari, and that's for obvious reasons. Now, being a state which always gives the president the highest vote of more than 1 million is not incidental to relate the victory of the APC presidential election to the wonderful performance of Kano State. Muhammad Rabiu Ali, who spoke with frontline politicians in the state, reports that Kano will ever remain the political stronghold of President Buhari.
Frontline politicians in Kano applauded the victory of President Buhari, saying Nigerians have made the right choice.
We want to encourage Mr. President to move to next level, because in the first level, we appreciated him. We saw what he did. He laid the foundation, despite all the challenges he had.
We thank Almighty Allah for giving us the opportunity to see the second coming of President Muhammadu Buhari.
I wasn't surprised, given the fact that, the president had done a lot in terms of moving the country forward.
They, however, urge Nigerians to continue praying for President Muhammadu Buhari to accomplish his vision and mission towards moving Nigeria forward in the next level. Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
And from Lafia, the Nasarawa state capital, comes a report that hundreds of people took to the streets celebrating the re-election of President Buhari while encouraging him to continue with the programs and policies that will usher in more development, unity and progress to the nation. Hamza Musa Makarfi is standing by with more on that report.
Right in the wee hours, the people have congregated here to show appreciation to what has happened as a landmark history in the political development of Nigeria.
The celebration continued in the morning. Although uncoordinated, the people say it is about their participation. They said the victory is based on performance and would like to see the consolidation in areas of development projects, peaceful coexistence, and put security under the Buhari presidency.
Now our vote is assured to us, next level is done now. So I'll call to the whole Nigeria, everybody to be patient.
He deserves the second term. So he's a good man. People love him, he loves people. He's working, he's doing what people want.
We, the women, we are extremely happy. We pray for a successful tenure.
The euphoria also reached the doorsteps of the government house as hundreds, without let or hindrance, made their voices heard.
My general assessment in terms of behavioral tendency of the electorate and the other stakeholders in the electoral unit, I think it was very excellent.
It is on record. This is the first time in electioneering history President Buhari is winning with highest votes in Nasarawa state. It is also the first for the 3 senatorial seats to come under APC, with 3 House of Representatives out of 5 in Nasarawa state.
Comparing the votes compared to that of 2015, it will show that actually something important has been laid down. That is why there is a great comparison between the votes General Muhammad Buhari escaped in 2015 and that of this time.
Stakeholders also pray for peace and stability among Nigerians. In Lafia, Hamza Musa Makarfi, NTA News.
Well, Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, was in jubilant mood Wednesday morning following the declaration of President Muhammadu Buhari as the winner of Saturday's presidential election. Kulle Adeyeye captured the mood and reactions of some FCT residents.
The curiosity of Nigerians over who will lead Africa's most populous country in the next 4 years was met early Wednesday morning when the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, declared President Muhammadu Buhari the winner of the 2019 presidential election.
That Muhammadu Buhari of the All Progressives Congress, having satisfied the requirements of the law and scored the highest number of votes is hereby declared winner and is returned elected. Thank you.
And that was what supporters of President Muhammadu Buhari have waited for more than 72 hours to hear. And this was their reaction. An enthusiastic Mohammed Abubakar believes the next 4 years of Mr. President will be a consolidation on the giant strides recorded from 2015.
His policies that have really impacted me and my people, that of the Empower and then that of the Barrow Port Land Sea, Dry Sea, has really done a lot in terms of that.
Michael Theophilus Ame shares Abubakar's sentiments and has these expectations from the APC government.
I want him to continue from where he stopped, the road construction, agriculture, fighting corruption, fighting the insurgency in the northeast. We just want him to continue, he should not stop.
From all indications, the euphoria of the president's victory will continue for a while in the nation's capital as residents celebrate the victory in different ways. In Abuja, Kunle Adeyeye, NTA News.
Victory well deserved. This is the song on the lips of Edo people and indigents as they rejoice over President Muhammadu Buhari's victory at the polls. Ivie Omorui brings us details of the situation and mood in Benin.
Benin City is quite calm today. Everyone is going about their business activities. Shops are open for business. There are people on the streets jubilating and thanking God for the victory of President Muhammadu Buhari as he is now a president-elect.
That's 4 years where Buhari go do. We are happy. I feel so excited. I feel great.
This parade is led by the Deputy Governor, Philip Shoibu, and other party faithful. To them, the declaration of President Muhammadu Buhari as president-elect of Nigeria is that which they have envisaged, considering the good deeds he has started.
Especially the infrastructural development he has started and making Nigeria self-sustaining in terms of agricultural produce.
I'm very happy with the result. It shows trust and confidence for Mr. President and the party.
Buhari means well for Nigeria. He deserves the cooperation of everybody.
In Benin, Ivie Omoyi, NTA News.
Well, the story is no different in Akwa Ibom State, as residents of Uyo say President Muhammadu Buhari's victory is an indication of the desire of Nigerians for a better country. They made this known while congratulating the president for what they described as a well-deserved victory. Jenny Bassi has that report.
Nigerians resident in Akwa Ibom State are expressing excitement over his victory and the general conduct of the elections. The people who congratulated the president on his victory noted that they expect more developmental projects.
I want to congratulate President Muhammadu Buhari for his emergence and for his re-election.
President Muhammadu Buhari deserved his victory because when you look at the infrastructural development that was left behind by the previous government, they have been working on it like Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, the second mainland bridge, and even what Akwa Ibom have never seen before. Now we are going to have the full direction of Calabar to road.
For his success, I say may God be with him, may God give him wisdom.
With this victory, the people say they are hopeful that President Muhammadu Buhari's second term will no doubt take Nigeria to the next level. In Uyo, Jenny Bassi, NTA News.
We'll take another short break now. News Extra will return after this timeout. Do stay.
All TVs say picture quality, but never mention the most important color, black. It uncovers the hidden details of nature, brings out the richness in all colors, and reveals life. With self-lighting pixels, only OLED TVs make perfect black. And perfect black creates perfect color. LG OLED TV.
I thought leaving the country was the best decision for me and my future.
I left for a better life.
We were picked up by immigration officials and sent to a detention camp.
I spent 8 months in the detention camp.
There was no food, no water.
I saw people being beaten like animals.
Some women were raped. Some women were sold as slaves.
I thought I would never see my loved ones again.
I have made the biggest mistake of my life.
I have wasted all my savings.
I have to start all over again.
Migration is a human phenomenon which cannot be stopped. But if we choose to migrate, we advocate that it should be done in a safe, orderly, regular, and dignified way, and not in a dangerous and tortuous manner.
This message is brought to you by the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons.
Team huddle.
But we lost.
Don't be tired, guys. This isn't a loss. It's a practice for winning.
Nothing makes a mother prouder than seeing her child growing up. But I know as he learns to lead, he'll face even more dirt, germs, and risk of illness.
That's why in changing seasons, you need strong Dettol protection. Because Dettol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Growing up needs Dettol protection.
Activate your life, be who you want to be. Now, 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 now. Come on, get active. Oh, yeah. Yes, you can do it if you try.
Start an active life with the power of vegetables and fruits. Chivita Active. Be active. Do more.
Discover the all-new Nivea Nourishing Cocoa Lotion, specially formulated with Nivea's Deep Moisture Serum and Africa's natural cocoa for 48-hour deep moisture. Glowing, radiant skin with Nourishing Cocoa Lotion from Nivea. Now say goodbye to dry skin with great Nivea specials this Harmattan season.
From our wonderful family, meet our active triplets. Mixology, for example, mixes well with drinks. Then enjoy every quick meal with Slurp It Off. And everywhere you go, there is Go-Gurt. Packed with healthy nutrition, nourishing vitamins, power of protein, strength of calcium, revitalizing energy. Hollandia yogurt is bursting with goodness inside and out. Hollandia yogurt, it's all good. Hollandia.
When you wake up in the morning before you start your day, breakfast time is Kellogg's time. For work and for play, for a great start to your day, breakfast time is Kellogg's time.
We always start our day with a nourishing Kellogg's breakfast, powered with the goodness of grains and 11 essential vitamins and minerals. So in our family, breakfast time is Kellogg's time.
Breakfast time is Kellogg's time. La 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 la.
Lifebuoy. Recommended by experts, new Lifebuoy is now in Nigeria. Not just Lifebuoy, new Lifebuoy.
Yeah, welcome back, and we're still talking about the 2019 presidential election. Now, the 2019 presidential election produced 28 million votes from 82 million registered voters for the 73 candidates. The votes were spread across the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. Ignatius Onkwo, in this report, highlights the demographic derivatives of the 6 geopolitical zones.
Statistics shows that the Northwest currently has the highest number of registered voters, with 20 million voters constituting 24% of the total, with Kano State leading with 5.4 million and a voter turnout of 1.9 million. States like Kaduna, Katsina, and Jigawa State also witnessed large turnout of voters at 1.7 million, 1.6 million, and 1.1 million votes cast. This explains why the bulk of the votes came from states like Kano. It is followed by the Southwest, which has 16 million voters, constituting 19.99%. Lagos has the highest number of registered voters of 6.5 million and a voter turnout of 1.1 million, but some observers describe it as not impressive. Northeast, 11 million, North Central, 13 million, South-South, 12 million, and Southeast, 10 million registered voters. The voter turnout in the northern eastern states of Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa were quite impressive. This is because the states are now conducive for political and other activities. Borno, with a total voters registration of 2.3 million, 987,290 accredited voters, witnessed a voter turnout of 955,205 votes, while Yobe produced a total of 586,137 votes out of the 601,059 accredited voters. In Adamawa, out of the 874,920 accredited voters, 860,756 voted. North Central, with a voter population of 13 million, has Plateau as the highest number of votes at 1.3 million, while the Federal Capital Territory has the lowest, standing at 451,408 votes. In the South-South, Delta State produced the highest number of votes at 882,254 votes from the 2.7 million registered voters, followed by River State with 666,585 votes out of its 3.2 million registered voters. The Southeastern Zone, with the lowest voter strength in Nigeria, has Anambra State with 625,035 votes as the highest in the region. The least votes came from Ebonyi State with 379,394 votes. Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Well, the social media, which can be traced to the 1980s, has changed the landscape of the traditional media, though with some arguable advantages, especially with fake news that threatens national cohesion. In this special report, Ronke Kolawole takes a look at the release of fake election results on the new media vis-à-vis the provision of the nation's electoral laws.
I can see people checking the various newspapers for updates on the just concluded presidential election. And just as these people are looking at the newspapers, I could see a young man checking his phone. For what?
To find out what's going on in the country concerning the just concluded 2019 elections.
You actually believe in everything you see on the social media?
Well, on the social media, it's like a lot of people post a lot of different things that they believe in. Well, most of them are not really true. Some could be true, but I don't believe in everything I see on the social media.
The social media has experienced development over the past 3 decades and brought a radical change to the way the political leaders communicate with the electorate and operations of government institutions.
When I see false and fake results circulating, it's not about the results and it's not about how it affects those it benefits and how it affects those who are victims of it. It tells me a lot about the people who generate it and the people who circulate it.
Apart from the few discerning ones, the social media has caused a lot of apprehension among the electorate and key players in the nation's electoral process, owing to its capacity to widely spread issues that have the tendency to further deteriorate national unity and heat up the polity from the political front.
When all those results is coming from social media, while listening to INEC attentively, we believe that those results is fake.
As a nation, we need to dispense with fake news and depend more on conventional media.
On this premise, the police is not keeping quiet. In fact, the Acting Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Abubakar Adamu, issued a warning to bloggers and other forms of new media users to desist from announcing or disseminating fake or unauthorized election results concerning the 2019 general elections. The police strongly upholds compliance with the Electoral Acts.
Under Electoral Act 2010, the person will be liable to imprisonment for a period of 12 months or pay a fine of 1 million naira.
The solution set is beyond legislation. It's about how do we reform the fabric of our society.
As Nigeria continues to strategize to develop its democracy for the good of the people, it is the hope of concerned citizens that Nigerians will emancipate from the bondage of fake news and tap the numerous benefits provided by the social media to better their lives. Ronke Kolawole, NTA News.
You're still watching NTA News Extra. Stay with us for more stories when we come back after the break.
When you wake up in the morning before you start your day, breakfast time is Kellogg's time. For work and for play, for a great start to your day, breakfast time is Kellogg's time.
We always start our day with a nourishing Kellogg's breakfast, powered with the goodness of grains and 11 essential vitamins and minerals. So in our family, breakfast time is Kellogg's time.
Breakfast time is Kellogg's time.
Can your milk do this?
Can your milk do this? Mine can.
With Hollandia evaporated milk, your ice cream, custards, and variations of beverages taste pleasantly different. Hollandia evaporated milk. Life tastes different.
From the House of Chi.
Munch it, what a tasty, crunchy feeling. Munch it, gotta munch it every day. Munch it, just give me that super snack. Munch it, oh, irresistible. Munch it, makes me wanna say one munch, two munch, non-stop munch. Munch it is here. Irresistible. One munch, two munch, non-stop munch.
Try a pack of Munch It snack at 50 naira.
Glad to have you back with us. We now join Abolade Salami live in our Lagos studio for business news.
Thanks for joining us on the business news segment. Over 59,000 business operators with an annual turnover of 1 million to 100 million naira have been discovered to be operating without a tax identity, thereby defrauding federal government of its revenue. Chairman FIRS Babatunde Fowler said, corporate bodies engaged in such illegal acts will face the wrath of the law. Nigeria as a country for the first time in 2018 recorded the highest figure in terms of revenue generation. In a bid to sustain the drive and bring in more taxpayers into the net, government discovered that over 59,000 operators who charge consumers value-added tax and withholding tax do not have tax identification number.
We have 59,000 of these so-called operators that have no tax ID and are not making any payments to the Federation account. In the last 18 months, we have added over 1.2 million business accounts to the tax net. So we're expanding the tax net.
Stakeholders, while appreciating the government with regards to value-added tax exemption in raw materials for manufacturers of diapers, appealed to the government not to increase tax rates.
This is of significant importance given the role of the manufacturing sector and industrial sector in the economic development of our country for the benefit of a sustained improvement of our economy.
The nation's economy has continued to improve, most especially in the fourth quarter of 2018, when Nigeria's gross domestic product rose by 2.3% in real time. In order to sustain and improve the growth, market operators have identified the capital market as a veritable platform to stimulate economic growth. Acting Director General, Securities and Exchange Commission, Mary Uduk said, if the capital market products such as bond, equities and commodities value chain are subscribed to by stakeholders, it will help stimulate growth.
By listing on the stock exchange, this will serve the purpose of generating funds for the government, allow the Nigerian public to participate in the ownership of privatized government assets, and deepen the capital market.
And still talking equities, midweek trading closed in the red. Let's join Joy for details.
The Nigerian Stock Exchange closed midweek trading in the red, depreciating by 0.71% to close the all-share index at 32,244.24 basis points. Volume of shares traded was 456 million, valued at 2.67 billion naira, which exchanged hands in 5,416 deals, and a market capitalization of 12.2 trillion naira. PZ, Julius Berger, and UBN closed in the positive territory, while Nestle, Unilever, and Zenith Bank finished in red. Most sectors midweek declined in figures as NSE banking, consumer goods, industrial, as well as oil and gas finished in red, depreciating by 1.44%, 0.66%, 0.05%, and 1.65%, while NSE Insurance posted gains appreciating by 0.08%. That's it on Stock Market Report. It's back to you, Abolade.
Thank you, Joy. And Stock Market Report hence Business News segment tonight. The news continues shortly with Fatima in Abuja. Good evening.
Thank you, Abolade. And back in Abuja, we have a story which says that the 3 tiers of government distributed the sum of 660.369 billion naira at the end of the monthly Federation Accounts and Allocations Committee meeting in Abuja. Leah Katung Babatunde reports that the amount includes a 50 billion naira augmentation after the month of January saw a decline in non-oil revenue.
Revenue generated in the month of January was 281.15 billion naira lower than the budgeted amount of 786.39 billion naira. It was a month that saw an increase in oil export sales, though there was a drop in price from $81.06 per barrel to $75 per barrel. Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, says non-oil revenue is responsible for the overall decline, which the committee agreed to augment. Gross statutory revenue received was 502.246 billion naira. This sum is lower than the 547.462 billion naira received in the previous month by 42.216 billion naira.
So it's an aggregation of lull that we experience during the month under review, and when we go deeper, we can segregate and segment the reasons. But largely, it is an aggregation of deficits which accounted for that difference.
Of the total amount distributed after necessary deductions, net statutory revenues stood at 491.924 billion naira, VAT 100.29 billion naira, exchange gain 654 million naira, and there was an augmentation of 50 billion naira from the FX equalization account. Excess crude account as at 24th January 2019 stood at $249 million. In Abuja, I'm Leah Kating Babatunde, NTA News.
And now we'll take our final commercial break. News Extra continues in just a moment. Stay with us.
A perfect family is under threat by germs. Infectious diseases are now the world's biggest killer of adults and children. These infectious diseases are caused by germs. They are everywhere. An average human being comes in contact with over 1 million germs daily in unclean water, dirty surfaces, in the toilets, on cuts and wounds, on your clothes. Germs can cause deadly diseases like typhoid, diarrhea, flu, and cough. To protect your family from germs, use the power of Dettol's 1 Cap Full for surface cleaning in your bathing water, in your laundry water, for first aid to protect your family from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Introducing Dettol Antiseptic Liquid in Sachet for only 40 naira.
Endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association.
The Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja is to fix a date for ruling on the 4 appeal filed by Justice Walter Onogen over his trial by the Code of Conduct Tribunal and his order for his suspension. Omenka Amarachuku has the details.
The appeal is challenging the jurisdiction of the Code of Conduct Tribunal to hear the legality of the ex parte order upon which Justice Onohe was suspended and refusal of CCT to abide by the ruling of the Federal High Court and that of the National Industrial Court to hold the trial of the arrests issued by the tribunal. The three-man panel, after listening to the defendants and the appellant, said they will communicate the date for ruling to the parties.
There are 4 appeals. One appeal is against the order for His Lordship to step aside. The other one is in respect of the order to hear the 2 applications. That is the one challenging jurisdiction and our own motion for him to step aside pending the determination of the substantive matter. The other one is also questioning his discretion about the adjournments by me on 3 of these files. We are happy that this matter is at least is over. We wait for the judgment and see what their lordship think of it.
Had all the arguments of counsel for the appellant and the respondent. What was clear today is that their lordship had to sacrifice their conference so that this national matter, a case that would define our generation as lawyers, is being decided. But let it be known that the Constitution of Nigeria 1999 as amended is still the best bargain for both the executive, the legislature, and judiciary. And therefore, on that constitution we stand.
Justice Walter Onohe is standing trial before the Code of Conduct Tribunal over allegation of non-declaration of assets. In Abuja, Umenka Marachuku, NTA News.
The federal government and the Nigerian Navy are strategizing on ways of eliminating piracy and other security challenges on the nation's waterways. At a meeting between both parties, 3 areas were identified as crucial to building a thriving maritime environment. Oyinnaya Kaluoka has that report.
According to the International Maritime Organization reports, for the first half of 2018, Nigeria topped countries with the highest number of recorded attacks against vessels. Nigeria alone accounted for a total of 22 out of the 45 attacks recorded in the first 3 months in 2018. This ugly trend, the Executive Secretary, Nigerian Shippers Council, Hassan Bello, says must be reversed as he identified 3 major areas critical to building a strong maritime environment.
We are very confident that the Navy should support the legislative attempt to have a comprehensive legislation on piracy, which is spearheaded by the Master and is now before the National Assembly.
The Chief of Naval Staff, while commending the Nigerian Shippers Council's drive in sanitizing the waterways, said the Nigerian Navy had already taken a bold step in checking crime along the nation's territorial waterways with the launch of a document entitled Harmonized Standard Operations.
The Nigerian Navy remains committed to improving security in the nation's maritime expanse. We have carried out a couple of measures and strategies that have yielded positive results.
Both parties agreed to do more on information sharing for a favorable business environment. Oyinna Kaloka, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Air Task Force, ATF, of Operation Lafia Dole has neutralized several Islamic states of West African province ISWAP fighters as they assembled for a meeting at their hideout in Koloro on the fringes of Lake Chad in the northern part of Borno State. The operation was conducted following credible intelligence reports indicating that some of the ISWAP leaders and fighters had assembled for a meeting in a group of buildings at the center of the settlement. Air Commodore Ibikule Daramola, Director Public Relations and Information, Nigerian Air Force, says operating in concert with surface forces will sustain its efforts to completely destroy all remnants of the terrorists in the northeast. And for a bit on sports now, the maiden edition of Trophy 5-a-side Football Challenge has unveiled the ambassadors for the tournament in Lagos. Ene Ojo Adiku was there for NTA News. Why did he get confused?
International Breweries PLC, makers of Trophy Lager Beer, unveiled its ambassadors for the Trophy Five-a-side football competition in Lagos, saying the tournament will, among other things, add value to the life of its consumers.
This is about rewarding our consumers with a fantastic tournament that will take the best team in Nigeria to Tanzania to play in the African tournament. I see lots of fun, entertainment, football, and people getting together to enjoy a good time.
So we're very, very proud of this moment, a moment of honor for the brand, for our consumers, for our customers, and for the nation at large.
The brand ambassadors, former Super Eagles captain Joseph Yobo, Nollywood star Femi Adebayo, and music artist Faust described the tournament as a right step in the right direction.
The trophy logo has stepped it up now, so obviously